In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Steven.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That over there is Cash Krause. How you doing, Cash?
Doing good. Doing good. Yeah, a lot of people bitch about our intro because it may be a tad bit on the long side.
Yeah, it's a minute. It might be the longest intro in podcast history.
But we paid for it. We wrote it.
We wrote it
ourselves. We still think it's gold.
It's hilarious. It's
still laughing
so absurdly over the top.
So we're going to keep using it.
We are. We have
the
to.
fact that we paid for it, now we actually have to use it.
You know what? It's 1 minute compared to listening to other podcasts who have like 7-8 minutes of advertising.
Yeah.
In front. Ours is only a minute intro. Just hit that skip. If you don't want to hear it, hit that skip 30
I promise
times,
you, it is worth listening to.
It does. And Chuck Fresh's voice never gets old.
He's one of the greats.
He is. I wish that man could just read a book to me at night.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, you can pay him to do it.
Well, I could.
You could
It'd be a lot of money.
It'd be worth it, though.
50 words for every, it's pretty expensive.
It'd be a lot. You could get him to read a short book, though.
Right? Yeah, short story.
A children's book or something. But yeah, we're not here to talk about Chuck Fresh. This is our part 2 of our TV Tuesday. We're wrapping up Waco.
And what a series this is.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, the latter half, not so great for the Branch Davidians.
No, things don't end well.
Wasn't real sure where this one was going.
Right.
But, yeah, it turns out pretty dark, surprisingly. Because in the real story, they all got away perfectly fine.
Oh, yeah.
The FBI just said these guys aren't doing anything wrong.
Right.
Literally nothing wrong.
We might have over-exaggerated.
Yeah.
We might have overextended our reach. And so we're just going to pack it up and go
Start
home.
the tanks up, boys. We're rolling out of
We're
here.
outta here.
Didn't need them. Never needed them.
Full of media, apology, everything.
All head of FBI. They all got fired, replaced, how they should have been suspended. And now Gary Nosner is in charge of the FBI.
That's awesome.
Doing things his way.
I'm so glad it ended that way.
I wish any of that was true.
So do I.
In fact,
So do I.
what actually happened, it was a giant massacre.
It was.
All the head guys, FBI's, got promotions. The one guy that was doing anything good got kicked out. I mean, got kicked off the premises, literally.
Right.
What I learned about is the real Gary got kicked out after 29 days.
Really?
Yeah.
They said no more negotiations.
He wasn't the head negotiator also.
Oh, he wasn't?
No. There were 7 different departments in Waco.
That just seems, everything about is so excessive.
Yes.
Everything about this is so excessive.
Well, you ask anyone, they said the main reason everything went wrong is we created a crisis within a crisis. Because they had 7 departments and no one knew what anyone was doing.
Yep.
No connection at all.
Well, and that's,
They said that was the most complicated thing.
Yeah.
Is you would be trying to get these guys out and then FBI guys would rush in knocking down the door. They said there was no communication at all. They said that was what fucked up at Waco.
It's so irritating.
Yeah.
And not only that, but these different departments never share information with one another.
Oh. 9/11,
9/11 could have been, again, 9/11 could have been completely
well, that was the whole thing
stopped.
was
Had
no one
everyone
knew what
share
anyone was doing.
information.
You know, you got ATF, you got FBI, you got the local enforcement, you got fucking the media there, fucking everything up.
Yeah.
This was a war in the media just as much as it was a war in the fucking Branch Davidians, man. But yeah, it was crazy. Should we just jump into it?
Yeah, definitely.
We'll start off episode 4 of Milk and Men. Good title because there's milk involved.
There is some milk, and it spoils rather quickly.
Yeah. So after the first attempt of evacuating Branch Davidians, because they got a few of them out, remember?
They did, yes.
It's slowly actually working. Like the whole reason they're there to save people is slowly working. They're not there to
militarize, but to get people out, get the children out, get the elderly out.
Yeah. They're there to protect, I believe, but you would never know
And I got to say, throughout this whole thing, that sniper was got to be the most trigger happy. Can I take the shot? It's like, dude, those are children. Like, relax, man.
Well, that's what they're there, I guess. You train all your life to shoot someone.
You want to shoot.
You want to
take the shot. Yeah.
Or that training, your entire life was for nothing.
Right.
Years of training for absolutely nothing. But yeah, so they're slowly coercing people to come out, and but the big worry now is that they're going to commit mass suicide.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed clear that that was never the
That's
intention.
what I was going to say. Yeah, it's like propagated. It's propaganda. They weren't really trying to commit mass suicide, but they were kind of the media was kind of portraying that, even though there was no clear-cut, defined evidence that they were going to commit a mass.
Well, the media
suicide.
literally kicked this whole thing off by releasing that the front page. What is it? The false Messiah paper or whatever,
or the sinful Messiah.
It said he was molesting the kids, and it was written by one of the old followers that got in a fight with him, and just said all this stuff. We don't know. I mean, we know he had young
child
wives.
brides.
Yeah, we know that for a fact.
We do know that.
And he most likely was, I would say he is a pedophile. I mean, because even though it's consent from the parents, I don't feel like it's consent
even
from
though
the 14-year-old.
It's it's one of those like arranged marriage where the 14-year-old doesn't have much to say.
Zero say, but it's like we're consenting. You can't consent for someone that literally
that makes no sense.
Ruining the point of consent.
Right.
So yeah, they're slowly getting him out, and Koresh, he's preaching the whole time. He's got a gunshot wound.
Mm-hmm.
He preaches, and then he falls over.
He faints in the auditorium.
Exactly. And he's like midway through a sermon or whatever, and so he's not looking good. Things aren't looking good for the Branch Davidians.
No.
But
and it's looking like their leader's going to die, too. Could very well die.
But the FBI, they don't know that. In the FBI minds, they're just in there loading weapons. They're gearing up. They're filling up grenades. They're just ready. They're loading up the kids with Kevlar and shit. They're just scared shitless people. Just absolutely horrified. But so Gary and the other agent, Walter Graves, they focus their attention on Steve.
Yes, Steve's who was the second in command.
He's the one who got pretty much, like, what did he get, like 90% of the followers? Yeah. Like, he was because he's the professor of theology.
And I loved Paul Sparks' performance as Steve in this.
Oh,
he's incredible.
It's it's a tough role, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely.
You got to be this cuck of a guy, 100%, but you also got to be like 100% for the cause.
Right.
Like, this guy's fucking your wife, which I just couldn't get out of the back of my head if I was even in a cult.
There's no way. There's no way you can.
This guy has to be pretty damn convincing for me to be okay, which he was, though. But anyways, things are looking bad. Food, water, they're done. They're eating MREs, I think, military rations, which suck.
And they're definitely rationing out the food.
Exactly.
And they even bring that up, too, when at the beginning of this episode, when they're releasing more people, they bring that up to David Koresh. They go, less mouths to feed. Like, we're running out of supplies here.
Yeah. And one guy is riddled with bullets. Somehow he's still hanging on. Don't forget this guy. He's like 4 episodes in. Yeah. He's been shot the entire time. He's got literally, I think, 9 bullets in it. It's the mailman's dad. And I think David Koresh's one of his wife's dad also.
It's Julia Garner's dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
her name in the show, though, is... gosh darn it, Michelle, right?
Yep.
Michelle.
Yeah, and that's his young wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's Thibodeau's.
That's the child.
That's Thibodeau's quote unquote wife, but he's not going to touch her.
But David Koresh on their wedding night went and slept with her.
So
brutal.
So yeah, things are looking bad again. And and David, he goes and he buries Perry. The guy finally dies.
He finally dies. Yeah.
Finally, dude.
And Thibodeau's really struggling with this because obviously he loves Michelle. He wants to do everything he can for Michelle, and the idea of it to her of like burying her father in a
because they're super fucking religious, so you got to bury him,
And he always talked about that willow tree out there.
Yeah, he loved the old willow.
Yeah, he did.
That a tank just drove over.
Oh, that's sad. It's not. It is. It is sad. It is. It's not good for the.
But for the environment.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He goes and buries him, and I thought for sure he was going to get shot. Had I not known that this is the one guy that actually survives in real life too.
And I've seen interviews with Thibodeau, so I knew that he survived.
He gets big.
But,
did you bring that up last time?
Yeah, I did.
He gained a Texas 50.
Yeah, he's Texas 50. You just put another zero.
Yeah.
behind that.
He was ecstatic to get out, and he hit the buffet first.
Immediately. He goes,
Like, we did not have
MREs,
food.
rationing out food. I will never go hungry again.
But yeah, he still talks about it, and he's still,
he
interesting enough, he although he knows everything that happened was wrong, he still says, he still backs the Branch Davidians up.
He does.
After all it. He still says that they didn't deserve that at all. And I think that is true for the most part.
For the most part, I do. Well, I mean, definitely the children didn't deserve any of this.
No.
At all. But yeah,
I would say 98% of the people in there didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, the people shooting are obviously we're going to get in trouble. But yeah, I mean, it was almost always David Koresh and like 5 other guys.
Exactly.
But the majority of people had nothing to do with it, and they got the worst of it for sure. Yeah. Kids never have anything. I mean,
no.
Yeah, they always suffer the most. But yeah, it's bad. But they're running out of milk because the women are lactating. They got to feed all of David's kids.
And the thing is they're not lactating because they're under so much stress.
Yeah,
that you don't produce milk when you're under that amount of stress.
You can't really produce anything under stress.
When there's helicopters flying, shooting from the rooftops down upon the house, I wouldn't be able to lactate either.
No. I wouldn't be able to piss. I wouldn't be able to do anything. I
wouldn't be able to take a shit.
I guarantee I'd be constipated for that week because I'm like, I can't shit during this. There's no way.
What if I got to pinch
under
one off
that
real
amount
quick?
of stress, you can't do anything.
You can't.
You really can't do anything. But yeah, exactly. And the kids need food. But the FBI was like, fuck those kids.
Mm-hmm.
If those kids want milk, they'll come out themselves and get milk. Fucking wild. It's wild. It's just the craziest thing.
And that doesn't even make sense.
Yes.
Either. You know what I mean? Like if they want milk, they're all just gonna have to come out. What?
Like a kid is just gonna be like, Mom, I'm out of it.
Like
I get what you're doing here.
Right.
It's not for me, and I can't do it anymore, so I'm walking out.
Some of the thinking behind that, I'm just like, how in the fuck are these people in charge?
You would think it took place in 1890.
Yeah, like no education or anything whatsoever.
Just no understanding of like human being, no empathy at all. Like they have such disconnect for these people that it's wild, man.
That is a perfect way to put it. Is disconnect of just these people in general.
They did not look at, but that was the whole thing with Gary and everyone is he was trying to get them to look at them as people.
Yeah,
like these are people,
and they just
never
refused.
did. They've always thought they were terrorists.
Yeah.
But so again, the trickle out method it works. Oh, they bring them milk. They bring them 6 gallons for 200 people.
Yeah, they sent out a bunch of kids and a few of the elderly.
Yep.
And they gave them 6 gallons of milk
with listening devices, of course.
Of course.
You always that's the way to do it. Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Which the Branch Davidians, I guess, had no idea. They haven't watched much TV.
No, they haven't.
But yeah, because they start talking and they get audio of David coming in, drinking the milk, and that fucking fired the FBI. We sent this goddamn milking for kids. And it was so pissed. They hated that he was getting that milk.
They did.
What the show kind of does good is show you that David Koresh wasn't this great guy in any way.
No.
I mean, he was just fucking normal. I mean, he was stealing milk from kids. It's kind of a piece of shit thing to do, but
it is.
But yeah, he was just an average guy. He was just he was just fucking.
And
crazy.
he wasn't like a supervillain either.
No.
But at the same time, like he wasn't a good person. But it's that good balance back and forth to show you the quote unquote good sides of David Koresh, but also the very, very bad sides of David Koresh as well.
He didn't deserve to. I mean, he definitely deserved to go to jail for probably marrying a 14-year-old girl.
I would say so.
But he did not deserve to have him and his entire sect of people wiped out like genocide, pretty much.
I mean, for sure.
Making sure that there's no Branch Davidian. I mean, that you watch this and you think that's the intent. Like they don't want anyone getting out to tell the story after it because of what the big fuck up.
That is kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do the milk. Things are kind of looking up. Not for the FBI. They fucking hate it. Cut the power, blast some psychological warfare that I don't even believe you're allowed to do.
I don't think so either. I think that's illegal.
Because it's torture. It's
right. It's like MK Ultra kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's torture. But they blast it, and it's just sirens and screams and shit, just stuff they do, and
stuff to make them not be able to go to sleep.
In war zones that you hear about like later in like CIA papers or something like. Blaring the same song over and over again. But that's the end of episode 4. Episode 5, stalling for time. Oh, in episode 4, all the milk goes bad.
It does because they turn the power off. So in this, understandably, this completely upsets the Branch Davidians because it's like you send us milk
and it goes bad because you
cut our power. Which, again, the show is so good at showing the Branch Davidian side of things too, and not just the FBI side. It's like that back and forth where it's like, I do see where the Branch Davidians were coming from. We just traded you for milk, and then you purposely cut our power and let that milk go bad for our children. So what have you done for us? All you do is lie and lie and lie.
Well, it's this weird thing of like they're all working towards this goal where they all just want to be everyone to be okay. But every time the FBI makes grounds, they just burn every fucking bridge possible.
It's taking one step forward, 2 steps back.
Like they should just, if they knew what they were gonna do, they should have went in the second day and just fucking killed everyone instead of wasting 50 fucking days of trying. Because every time they tried something, like, oh, it's working. They say, fuck that. We gotta ruin that. Yeah. It's why. It's so weird.
It is crazy.
You almost wish, you almost wonder what would happen if maybe one fucking woman was anywhere near this. Because it's just, all the FBI are just men, and they're all just fucking cleaning guns. They're just ready to gear up.
And they're all hotheads. They all just want to go in and it was like a mass militarization.
Yes.
Where all they wanted to do was go into the compound and what it looked like to me is just basically kill anyone with a gun.
Anyone, yep.
Yeah.
So episode 5, stalling for time. So it's a week goes past, stalemate. Gary and his boss, Tony Prince, that's the guy from True Detective. He's very good in this too. But they're just yelling at each other constantly. You know, they don't know how to handle it. Gary says this shit's working. Tony says, I don't know. I don't like it. It's been a while now, and they don't like that. They don't like that's been so long. But Kathy Schroeder, seeing footage of her son, you know, because they trick him, they film footage of the kids to like, this will get him out, and it works for one lady,
right?
But they kick one other guy out too. They kick the guy out for drinking.
Yeah, the big bearded guy. Which, hey man, I would want that guy on my team.
That guy he's a stunt man I've seen in probably 10 roles. He's always a henchman, and he never. This is the largest role I've ever seen him in. But
when he hardly has any dialogue whatsoever.
Oh, never. But I've seen this guy in so many things where he's always getting killed. And this one, he actually doesn't die.
No, he doesn't. He gets away.
He has dialogue. I've never heard this guy talk before. He's huge
man,
huge guy. But I've seen him in so many different movies. But they kicked that guy out.
Yeah, for drinking.
And that was the whole thing. Was like all this shit's going on, and David is still like standing 100% by the rules.
Yep.
Like, this is the whole thing. If you have a cult, I mean, I don't want to give advice, but you have a cult and shit starts hitting the fan.
Yeah.
Ease back a little, or people are gonna start getting rowdy and start hating you. He didn't ever ease back.
No, not at all.
Remember, they're all kind of celebrating a little bit because they got milk, and he runs in, starts yelling at them.
Everyone,
like, take it back a little. Like, you got to know the situation in war.
Read the room, man.
In wartime, you got to get the wins where you can get it. One little birthday or whatever. You
keep the morale up.
Keep people on your side. That's what happens with Jonestown. Is everyone started fucking hating him because everyone was starving to death. Yep. And then they wanted out. Then he had to kill them all. You got to give them. It's got to be give and take. Yep. You know, you can't just. But he did not let anything. Kick the guy out for drinking. The guy just murdered about 15 FBI agents. Let him have a drink.
I think he deserves it. Yeah. I mean, that was probably not what he was planning on doing that day.
His wife was drinking. Or I don't know if she drank, but she found the bottle earlier.
She found the bottle,
and she, I guess,
and then she turned him in. Yeah, of course she did. She's
what's the bottle for then? For bottle of whiskey, why do they have it? If they're just, if no one's allowed to drink, why do they have the bottle of whiskey? Just to tempt
I think
people?
he must have snuck it in.
But it was in the pantry.
It was in the pantry. Yeah, I was like, why?
Like, I'm gonna hide it here amongst all the other food. Yeah. I literally think like it was for like emergency stock or something, but.
Or for like cleaning a wound or something.
Yeah, which would never even work these days. You would have to have a very high % alcohol for that to work. So, yeah, it's not working. But immediately the branch, they kicked the guy out for drinking, and they didn't kick the lady out. She just left.
Yeah.
But these people fucking dodged a bullet.
Literally. Well, I guess not literally.
Well, yeah, dodged some flames, I guess. But while this is happening, they're sending in tanks. Aggressive maneuvers. Remember, because in any show, if you have a tank, you got to get the tank running over a car. They do it about 4 times.
4 times to antagonize the Branch Davidians.
Yeah. Yeah, they start running over everything, their fences and everything. But yeah, you have a tank.
Do you remember that nice Chevrolet?
Yeah,
that they ran over, that SS.
Yeah,
yeah.
So weird because none of them are allowed to have nice shit. But then it's like,
but you got. But these I got to drive.
But nice David cars. Gets to drive this night. I mean, it's clear.
Well, again, it just shows the hypocrisy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The same thing with the wives. No one's allowed to have sex, but he took on the burden of sex. Shut the hell up.
Yeah, took on the burden.
Yeah, the burden. What a burden. What a burden that is.
Hit me up. I'm willing to take on the burden for anyone out there. If you got a problem, just let me know if it's become too much for you. But yeah, so now the Branch Davidians are like, fuck, it's wartime, right? Like they're doing this, and Gary, in a latch dish effort, he's like on the phone begging. It's like it's a different tone from every. He's not. Doesn't seem professional at this point. It seems like he's talking to a friend.
Yeah.
So he's begging him, please come out. Just please come out. And
well, he's telling him at this point, like, there's not much else I can do.
Yeah.
The higher ups are demanding that you guys come out. Like, you have to come out. Negotiations are at a stalemate.
He's pretty much saying everything but they're gonna come in and kill you.
And kill you all. Yeah.
Yeah. He's saying everything but that. But yeah, so the armored tanks or whatever, they give, the main guy gives another press conference. Dave Thibodeau's mom yells in the press conference. Yep. But it's interesting because I've never thought about it this way, but they're like, we can't let anyone talk to anyone because we can't let them say goodbyes. I never even realized that, but it's right.
It is smart. Yeah, it is smart. I mean, if
don't give anyone the chance to tie up loose ends.
And that is smart. And that's where I do agree with the FBI on that. That is a very smart,
yeah.
Especially if you had, which I don't think they had much evidence, but especially if you have evidence of like a mass suicide, that is the best thing to do. Don't let anyone tie up any loose ends before this shit goes down.
Definitely.
So but smart on them for that.
Yeah, because at first I'm like, I mean, if anything, it would help hearing your mom's voice. Maybe you get sympathy, like, fuck. No, I don't think so.
No, but sometimes not. If you're
I do think it would help in this situation because I don't think any of them were suicidal at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, I do think it would help, but I
on the
know
FBI
the role.
side, and on the FBI side, you don't know that for a fact.
I think it works more for the single hostage taker. For the guy that's got his family or something like that, and you have someone call in, and that guy you don't want saying, you want tying him up, because that guy you just want him to keep going. But 50 days in, I don't think it hurts at this point to let the moms say something. But yeah, because Thibodeau sees his mom outburst or whatever, and he thinks about leaving. Doesn't happen. Unfortunately, David's got
he's got a tight hold on.
He's got the roots in.
He does.
Yeah. But again, everything's settling down or whatever after the demand that they see their chins, and they again cut the fucking power, so they can't sleep or anything.
But you know what?
Turn the music on.
David Koresh has got a backup plan. They finally get that piece of shit generator.
You know what the FBI can't fight? The power of rock and roll.
They're like, what are we gonna do? We got 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Koresh is like, let me play the guitar.
I got something for you. This is gonna ignite a fucking fire in the world.
You know what would have been funny? The whole time I was thinking this too. He's playing right out in the window, right, for them to see.
Just snipe him.
Yeah. Just the end of the show.
Well, I thought there was gonna be like lighters or all the FBI. Like, this guy rocks.
This guy's pretty good.
They just throw their guns down like Woodstock. And
they all just join. They're all congregating, swinging back and forth.
That's it. That's the end of it. Power music. No.
No.
In fact, it was just a stupid waste of power.
I know. You could have done so much with that power, and they decided to rock and roll.
They rock and roll. Because David is like, again, he thinks he's just the fucking Messiah.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to do it. I'm not letting them have any fun at all, but as long as I'm having fun, it's cool.
That's all that matters. Well, he's like, I got to have one more concert before I peace out.
Yep. So
that's what he did.
Absolutely. And that's the end of episode 5.
Yep.
Episode 6, day 51. If you know anything about this day, 51 days in, it's not a good.
It doesn't end well.
Shit. Well, it does end on day 51,
unfortunately. Yeah. But it doesn't end well.
But, attorneys end up meeting with David because they use the satellite dish for the radio guy. The radio
was
guy
super
that's
smart. I wonder if that's actually a real thing that happened.
No, I don't think so.
Good writing, though.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they would have allowed... I don't know. I don't know if they would have allowed attorneys in there because it just seems really dangerous for the attorneys.
Right.
Because if you are really thinking that these guys are suicidal, I don't think you're allowing citizens into a hostage situation. No.
I think the only way you would do that is if, like, the attorney signed saying that the FBI cannot be held liable.
Which you think an attorney would never do. Being a smart attorney.
Maybe some of them. I mean, there are there are some people who will represent, which that's their job. They have to.
Yeah.
But they'll represent.
But in the show, these are like high up Texas law. They were like people that were fighting for the people or whatever. I just don't know if it happened in real life. I just don't know if it would. But, but David says, look, give me 7 days. In a week, I'm going to write down my manifesto. 7 seals. These goddamn 7 seals.
This guy will not shut up about the 7 seals.
Anyone who takes the Bible for a literal translation, it's just 7 seals this. Get over it, my guy. But yeah, that's what he's preaching. 7 seals, that's in the time, right?
It's so open to interpretation. Like, I have literally heard Revelation interpreted so many different ways throughout my life that I'm like, it's an interpretation. Like,
go back and read the oldest version of the Bible, and then read the Bible today.
Right,
they're two different
totally
books.
Different things.
They're different books.
So I mean, the Bible has been translated, thousands of years through
thousands
so many different languages. It's so hard to
not
pull
that
into
the original books were just found in the desert on tablets or whatever. So, I mean, it's really the only problem I have with it is people that take the Bible for a literal translation. Yes. I think it's almost dangerous thinking to do it because.
And I have no problem.
But you can learn from the stories and what they teach and everything, and how they teach you to be good and whatnot. You don't have to take a literal translation.
And I have no problems with faith. Like, I'm a believer. I believe in a God, but like. To this level, to this extent, where you take dangerous. Literal translation, it is dangerous. It is.
Actually, a literal translation of someone that wrote a book thousands of years ago that has no idea what life was going to look like right now. But hey, they say 7 seals now, 7 seals forever, brother.
Yep.
So he gives them the time.
I wonder if his band was 7 Seals. That's actually a cool name.
There is definitely a band
named 7 Seals.
Yeah. Heavy metal has to be.
Yeah, for sure.
7 Seal for sure. It's an awesome.
Dope name.
I guarantee you, any Bible text has been a band name because it's fucking metal. It is metal. The Bible is metal. Right. It's a lot of killing. So
there is a metal Christian band named The Disciple, which is pretty cool. I like that. Oh, yeah. The Disciple.
But I hope a band named 7 Seals is like doom apocalypse rock.
Yeah, for sure.
All it is is just like end times rock. Yeah. So, anyways, they say give them a week. And the head guy was like, all right, I'll give you a week. But really, they're never
patient enough.
No.
Never.
So he's like, all right, we're going to give you a week. And the week does go past, though.
It does.
And David can't give him anything. You're just begging David, give him a paper, give him anything.
Well, and David's argument here was that video that he released, quote unquote, before he was ready. That rambling, that sermon that he did, and then he promised he was going to come out, then did not come out. And now he's saying it has to be completed before I release any of it because he doesn't want to be embarrassed again.
Yeah.
But tough shit. You told him 7 days.
Exactly. 7 days. That's a seal a day.
It is a seal a day. I mean, just work 1 seal a day.
I mean, Jesus made the fucking earth in 7 days, and he rested 1 day.
He did. So he rested on the 7th.
You're some God. You are some Messiah. You can't write a few pages.
What? You know what it probably was? He probably got to the 7th seal, but it was his day off, and he said, I got 1 more day. Let me type this on the 8th day.
Well, that's not good for the FBI, because all the FBI thought was it was a tactic to stall. Mm-hmm. He thought that he was stalling to get ready for, I guess, the big suicide or something. I don't know.
Which I don't know why you need more time to commit mass suicide.
Seems like you need a day, maybe a prep. You know, get the Kool-Aid out.
Are we ready, everyone?
Yeah, a million guns. Yeah, I mean, you didn't need. So, anyways, they say, he has too much time, and by this point, Gary is off the premises. Gary, he's done. It's too personal now.
Fired.
I don't like you like this. They're gonna inject, but before they even knew they called it off, Gary found gallons of CS gas everywhere before the 7 days were up. So he's like, "You guys were gonna go in no matter what."
Yeah.
And it's
which CS gas is tear gas.
Yeah, but another word for really fucking flammable, and it's against the law, is what he says in the show. It's against the Geneva Convention. So there's multiple tear gas, but some are more dangerous than others. And CS gas is notorious for catching
on fire. And it has been throughout history that it has caught on fire.
And it's never once been the police's fault.
Nope, not one time.
But there is literally, you can go maybe 30 stories of SWAT teams throwing in CS gas in the entire building and kills everyone.
Yep. Well, not only that, but it's like the amount that they were pumping into Waco.
Yeah.
Or into the stronghold.
Yeah.
It's like, of course that shit's going to catch fire.
No, not to them.
Yeah. And not their fault. Mass suicide, right?
Yep. And they were worried. And the crazy thing is they went and lied to the politician. Mm-hmm. They said, Americans are like, they all have gas masks. What the fuck is gas going to do? They're like, oh, well, gas masks don't work for everything. The lady was like, I don't know enough about gas masks. So like, you got me. But they were lying.
Educated.
They were lying.
Yeah, of course.
They could have, the gas mask would have worked fine.
Well, you know what's so fucked up, too, is
they're gas masks.
They knew that the children didn't have gas masks because they couldn't fit on their faces.
Yeah.
So they knew that. And that's what they were using the CS gas for.
Yeah.
Which is even more fucked up to use children as leverage in this situation.
Absolutely.
It's just gross. It's gross.
So, I mean, we pretty much know what happens next. They end up attacking. They fill they run into the building. I'm not talking about run with tanks, and they completely destroy the structure of the house. Mm-hmm. So people are trapped inside.
Right.
They're running through the door, so you can't get out.
So you can't get out of the door.
Run through an off wall, so I can still use the door to get it out.
So we can get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
It just 100. I mean, you'll never get proof of it, but it's 100% makes me think they were just going in and killing everyone. Yeah. They had no intention of letting anyone out. It was, I mean, you'll never ever get evidence of that. It'll never be on paper or anything.
No.
But I think they all had an unspoken kind of bond that they knew they were going to kill everyone. And the show kind of sells it that the guy at the very end kind of runs over, memory panics, he's crying and everything. Yep. I just don't believe. I mean, that I know for a fact didn't happen in real life.
It's
an FBI
dramatization.
Yeah, it's traumatized. Yeah. But I don't think there is any feeling of remorse at all.
For anyone? No. It
sure
doesn't seem.
I mean,
like
not for the guys on top. Maybe the guy driving the truck, who you'll never hear about. He probably is weighing on his conscience for sure. But these head guys, they didn't lose us a wink of sleep.
No, they're a different breed of people.
Yeah,
they're not like.
Well, it's literally. I think it's the exact same kind of people that are gearing up, that are store away weapons, gearing for this apocalypse. But it's those type of people, but they're in charge of a giant
organization. Yeah.
So we're gearing up and we're getting ready. We might as well use it. That's the whole thing. Is if you're stockpiling a lot of shit, one day you go, man, I've been spending thousands and millions of dollars. I might as well use this. And then you go up and shoot up a place. So
it's just crazy.
It is crazy, but I think it's the exact same thing. You know, it's the same intention. But yeah. So they die and whatever.
Whatever.
Whatever. We know what happens.
Yeah.
I don't need to get into the grisly details.
It was
76 people die.
Yeah.
76,
the right number. 25 of them were children.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Something though that one of the scenes that I liked is they showed, again it's tragic and it's so sad, but it's good to show this, to show like what happened when they're all trapped in the flood drain. You know, the bus under the ground,
burned alive,
well, suffocated
children
to death.
Yeah, well, I mean the lucky ones,
right? The lucky ones,
which smoke inhalation is a horrible death. It's burning your insides. Yeah. But yeah, they don't even get fucking shot, which would have been a better death. It's just getting a hail of gum. But they burned alive, and they burned alive in that fucking
bus, storm drain.
That storm drain. But then before, a lot of them were in the fridge or whatever.
Yeah,
the cooler they were using for sound or whatever, because they were locked in there because they couldn't get out.
And, what a terrible
and David
way
dies
to die.
of a headshot to the wound, or a gunshot wound to the head, which is how he died.
Which is how any coward goes out. I mean, look at Jones.
I don't know. I don't even look it up, and I don't know if he took his own life, or I doubt he really got shot. I'm sure that is just a dramatization.
Oh, I guarantee that's what he did, though. I guarantee he had someone shoot him in the head.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's
either
the MO
way,
for
either
cult
way.
leaders.
Yeah, but they usually shoot themselves in the head.
Unless he's a coward.
Well, yeah,
and then you'll have someone else do it.
But you're still a coward by shooting your own self in the head, too.
Well, that's true, yeah. But I mean, at least you're not the one pulling the trigger. I liked it better that Steve pulled the trigger. on David
it
Koresh.
might have because he was so religious that he might have thought, oh, this isn't suicide, because suicide is the ultimate sin. Which again, I guess the FBI agent never connected that. Like, these guys are very religious, and they take the Bible with a literal translation.
Yes, but they were looking at the Jonestown massacre back in 78 or 77, whenever it was.
Yeah, but that was such a weird,
it was a weird thing.
offshoot of Christianity that they were really these guys were actually reading the Bible, but that got so weird where they were really doing their own shit.
And then Jones would just go on a crazy rant for hours and force the people.
Because he was on meth and doing it, so that really where David wasn't on any drugs or anything like that. He was just a pedophile.
Yep, he was.
Which he should have done time for that, but I don't believe every one of those people should have died.
No, absolutely not.
Horrible. But this is a fucking, I guarantee they show this to FBI agents now and be like, okay, this is what you don't do. Listen, watch this and do the exact opposite, because I can't see another colossal fuck up like this happening again.
No. And I don't think, at least from my knowledge, I don't believe there has been anything like Waco since.
No. Waco, well, especially after, because this led to the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yes.
The worst terrorist act, domestic terrorist act to ever happen. So I think after that, they really just we can't let this happen again. I think they did change everything. They really did change the way they do things after that.
Well, you have to. You have to look at that and go, no one's perfect. Not every organization is perfect. But it is sad that it had to end, especially with 25 children dying.
No.
Unnecessarily.
What should have happened is the entire FBI should have been fucking wiped clean and just restarted it. I mean, you have to fire. Yeah, but that didn't happen. No. ATF especially, you gotta clear house when something like this happens.
This egregiously bad.
And it was shown worldwide too. I mean, people were glued. 51-day standoff. Yeah. 75 people dead. It's crazy, man.
It is.
Crazy. Well, what did you think about Waco, Mason?
I was really impressed with this miniseries on Netflix. I loved this. I thought it was well put together. I love the acting. I love the story. I love how they showed both perspectives. And I thought it was pretty darn. I mean, yes, as we talked about, there were some dramatizations. Not everything verbatim happened the way that the TV show showed you, but I thought they did a really good job of staying very close to the details.
Well, and they had a lot of, I guess, Timido, I guess he was on set for a lot of it, and he said it was very weird because they got the house almost perfect. They said so. He said because he hadn't been there since it happened, and he hadn't talked to anyone. But I guess they had other survivors also that were on set, and that was the first time he had talked to anyone. Was them on set. Yeah.
That's wild.
So he says the first time he said, yeah, so that part they did an amazing job with, like, the set at least.
Did they really build? Did they rebuild?
They built the house, yeah.
They rebuilt the compound, huh?
I mean, it obviously wasn't in Waco.
Yeah.
But yeah, they built that house for almost like a 1-to-1 scale model of what.
Wow.
Yeah, because if you
That's
go back,
be weird
if you go back and look at the video,
go through it again and be like, so many memories and so many like.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Well, and his daughter and wife died.
Yeah.
In that, burned alive. Yeah. And he was the only one. That's survivor's guilt for sure.
Well, but it had been, but still, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, but what we saw is he loved him.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was her name? Serenity was Michelle's daughter's name.
Yeah, because they were all fucking what were
they? I did like that name though. That's a cool name, Serenity. That's a cool name.
Yeah, well, it has religious ties for sure. Because because they were supposed to be the next. There was the 13, whatever the
council.
The council.
Yeah, they were supposed to be the council of 24 or 25, whatever
24.
it was.
It's a lot of fucking to do, David.
It is. Well, he almost accomplished that.
But I think just to add on to what you said, I think the real bright spots were the actors in this. I think Taylor Kish did really, really good job as David Koresh, and I think Michael Shannon. When you have Michael Shannon, you have to have one moment where he blows up, where he goes crazy, and they had it there when he was talking on the phone and when he was yelling at the FBI agents. They had it. Yeah. You have that scene, and it's an all right show for me, And with Shea Wingham and everyone,
yes,
that was a big. Like you said, there was definitely some dramatizations that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's bound to happen because it's a TV show, and reality is not as fun as drama that you could write. So you got to add in some things.
Well, Glenn Flesher too was really good as Tony Prince. the head FBI agent.
He's great.
Just being
he's only ever a bad guy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, but
he's so good at it.
So good at it.
You can't really blame the guy.
He's been typecasted, but he doesn't have a problem.
No, I wouldn't either.
And Julia Garner, she had such a small role in this, but this was before she really blew up on Ozarks.
But she is a phenomenal actress as well.
Yeah.
A really good up-and-comer. I mean, not even an up-and-comer anymore. Everyone knows who Julia Garner is now, but...
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, when
this came out right around, I think, Ozark season 1.
Yeah.
This was one of the last things that Weinstein
did, yeah.
produced, had a big hand in. There's a big controversy
Which
about
is
it. Because they end up taking all his name off of, because originally his name was going to be on it and everything. But
well, and how creepy and how eerie is it, too, that you're talking about, David Koresh being like a pedophile and stuff, sexual assault and all that, and then it's Weinstein.
Anytime I see something about Kevin Spacey and him playing a bad guy, it always adds in another layer of just overall fucking creepiness.
Or how about the last film that he was going to do where he played a guy who had sex with an underage boy, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? How much more on the nose could this get?
Well, I think at that point those guys are just doing everything to get fucking caught. I mean, they've got away with it for so long that they think they can go right. It's just like a serial killer, murdering right in front of someone's face.
They just get more and more boastful and arrogant about it,
But yeah, he was originally, because I think, because the allegations, I think, came out in 2017, and the show dropped like a week or something before those allegations.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So not great timing.
That's probably why it took off now. Give it a few years to simmer, because it was trending on Netflix and everything. Waco was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And that's primarily why we picked it. Because I was talking with a lot of different people, and everyone was watching Waco before we started doing this for our TV Tuesday. And then I was like, oh wow, okay, Waco's a big deal all of a sudden. And then I saw it trending number 2 or 3 on Netflix.
Yeah.
Made sense.
Well, they should, I think it is something that should almost be mandatory to even be taught in class. To show that your country can be great and it can be horrible at the same time. Because I didn't know. I mean, we never learned about anything about Waco or domestic terrorism anything in school. We never knew any of that stuff.
Again,
that's a huge part of American history.
Yeah, America's a great country. I mean, it might be the greatest country in the world, but that doesn't mean that there aren't things wrong with it or that things that haven't been done that are just bad.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing with politics, and that's why I hate people who just jump on someone's bandwagon and say they do no wrong, they are God. I look at both sides, both parties, and I go, okay, there are flaws, there are things that I don't agree with, and I think that's how we have to be. We have to look at things as best as we can. We're always going to be a little biased depending on our personal needs, but at the same time, we have to look at it and call it out for what it is always, and try to always do our best doing that. Yeah. And never just choose teams and be tribalistic.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I mean, that's what schools do.
Easier said than done.
School's more just a patriotism class where they don't really ever tell you the bad part. But
unless you take an A-push class, because what I will say is
they don't give a fuck about the normal kids, but these kids are higher up. We'll teach them some real history.
One Condit, I always say was one of the best teachers I've ever had in my life.
And all the audience will know who you're talking about.
Well, right, but I took her A-push class, and she talked about even the bad side, and I got to give her credit.
Good
on
teachers
that.
will do
did.
that. Yeah. Well, all right. That's all I got for Waco Part 2.
Well, that is our review, our full review now for our TV Tuesday review on Waco. If you guys are watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you're listening, you can find our podcast on any format: Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. We are everywhere, guys. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Krause, and until next time.
Bye.